access to a housing choice voucher or to a public housing slot, so that you will actually be able to make a transition into some kind of permanent affordable housing placement. So you may not be staying in this particular location with this particular nonprofit for the long haul, but you will have affordable housing while you're on this program, and you're going to stay there until a public housing unit or a Section 8 housing choice voucher slot opens up, so we can make sure that you transition into that, and it's a seamless transition is the idea. So that's the plan for how that's going to work. We will see. It's a new program. There will always be hiccups, but that's the plan.
What is the maximum income limit?
I believe you can't make any more than what's called 50% of the area median income. And I have to be honest with you, I can't remember what that is off the top of my head for a household of one, but I want to say it's about $36,000 for one person.
18,000. So half of that would be around 18,000.
So, well, you can't have an income of more than $36,000 for one person, but yeah, that's it. So that'd be the maximum income that you could possibly have and still qualify for this program.
Maybe 18, not 36.
No, 36.
36.
Right, for one person. That's 50% of what the area median income is for the Northern Virginia area. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now, there are a couple of other new initiatives that are going on in local government, aside from the Housing Authority. One of them is we have a new Office to Prevent and End Homelessness in Fairfax County. And this department, or this office, has been set up to administer several different initiatives. One of them is called Housing Opportunity Support Teams, or the HOST network. And this is a network of basically housing and supportive service agencies, both public, nonprofit, CSB, basically a big giant network of all of these different organizations that intensively coordinate services across the entire county. Because prior to HOST, we've had a lot of organizations all working on homelessness, but it's been very fragmented, and those organizations don't typically talk together, and they haven't done a very good job of partnering with one another, so there's been a lot of resource that's gone out there to either duplicate the same activity or not coordinate so that there have been gaps in services. So the HOST model has been an attempt to make sure that we've covered all the services that we need to cover with at least one organization providing those services in the county, and that we're coordinating among those services so that different nonprofits are talking to each other when they have an individual that maybe they can't help, but they know another nonprofit might be able to provide a service to. So this HOST network is basically intensively coordinating services with each other. The HOST network also provides each human services region with a housing locator, and this housing locator's job is to basically assist people who are lucky enough to get those vouchers or other types of housing with finding and securing a stable housing option as soon as they possibly can. Because one of the biggest problems with Section 8 vouchers is that it's sometimes hard to find a landlord who will accept them. So these guys will help actually pound the pavement and find the folks who will accept them. And the HOST team also provide a community case manager. And that person's job is to basically try to get rid of some of those housing barriers and help you get linked to the services that you're going to need to maintain long-term housing stability. Whether that's childcare, employment, things like furniture and other stuff that you're going to need inside your home, transportation, lots of different kinds of stuff like that. Office of Prevent and End Homelessness also coordinates some grants from HUD that are called Continuum of Care. And these are mostly grants that work on homelessness issues. They provide supportive housing, permanent supportive housing for people with disabilities, safe haven programs. They're primarily aimed at people who are homeless and also have serious mental illness, as well as transitional housing. So this office coordinates all those different types of housing. And different organizations actually have these grants and are implementing this type of housing. The CSB actually has this grant down at the bottom here, the 16 beds of transitional housing and treatment services for 32 homeless individuals, and provides the alcohol and drug treatment that goes with that transitional housing. Okay, last but not least, Office to Prevent Homelessness coordinates what we call family unification program vouchers. That's mostly aimed at families who, because of their housing struggles, have actually had to split up and live in different locations from one another. In other words, mom and child might have to live in one place and dad might have to live in another just because they can't afford to live together. And they've administered the homelessness prevention and rapid rehousing funds. These were federal kind of one-time funds that came about that as a result of the federal stimulus monies that were actually a really, really big help in the last year to keep people from actually losing their housing by being able to provide very short-term rental subsidies so that people could stay where they were, or if they actually did lose their housing, could very quickly help people get reestablished in another place to live by providing short-term rental assistance. That particular pot of money is no longer with us. We spent 3 years, a 3-year allocation of that money in less than a year. So you can see how important pot of money that is when you're in an economic downturn like we are. And the Office to Prevent Homelessness is really working very hard to find other sources of funding that are going to be able to help create an emergency fund that will function very similar to what the HPRP funds did. Now, transitioning from the Office to Prevent Homelessness, another funding source that you need to be aware of is operated by the Department of Family Services, and those are auxiliary grants. How many of you have heard of auxiliary grants? A couple people? Okay. These are grants that basically are an income supplement to SSI that help pay for the housing and basically really the room and board and care that one receives either in an assisted living facility or in an adult foster care placement. Adult foster care placement is typically 3 or fewer people living in a licensed foster care home. So, this will give you, if you qualify, up to $1,279 per month. And the individual gets to keep about an $80 personal allowance to be able to spend on toiletries and other personal things that an individual might need. However, you have to meet what they call the assisted living level of care in order to be eligible for this particular funding source. And you only get the funding if you're living in an assisted living facility or in an adult foster care residence. And assisted living level of care, you wind up getting an assessment based on a particular screening instrument, and you have to need a certain amount of physical assistance and personal care. So only certain people are going to really be able to qualify for this kind of funding. And the Community Services Board also provides housing. We provide housing for CSB clients with supportive services. We do that through partnerships with the Housing Authority. We have units that we partner with the Housing Authority in public housing, the Ffx County Rental Program, project-based voucher properties, and group homes that the Housing Authority owns for us, where we staff the group home and we place the individuals who live there. And then we also have rental units that are operated by private landlords. So we go out and actually partner with private landlords or develop relationships with private landlords where we will negotiate rents, and then either the individual will sign a lease or we will guarantee a lease, or we will sign a lease on behalf of an individual to be able to live in a private rental arrangement. And we work with residential programs through contracts with private nonprofit residential residential providers. And we've done that with about 130 group homes and 190 supported apartments. And you may be familiar with some of them, Pathway Homes, for example. Okay, so we've talked about the Housing Authority, we've talked about other local government programs. Let's talk quickly about private housing resources. So what exists today are some privately owned, federally assisted rental units. These are rental units that are in privately owned properties, typically properties that are owned by nonprofit affordable housing organizations. And they usually have a type of Section 8 in these projects. Most of them have wait lists, but they should be open. They should be accepting you onto their wait list. Some have units that have reduced rents. Some have units with subsidized rents. So you have to be sure that you're asking about what kind of rent they have before you sign up. All of their assistance is unit-based, meaning if you sign up and you get a unit, that subsidy is only attached to the unit. If you leave, it ain't coming with you. All of them will have maximum income limits, and some of them will have minimum income limits. And again, in that handout that's back there, you'll see that there is a list in here of privately owned, federally assisted rental units. Okay?
Is that just for Virginia or what?
That's just those units in Fairfax County. Now, if you went to HUD.gov, I bet you'd be able to find a list of units throughout the country. Another private housing resource are what we call low-income housing tax credit properties. And these are not properties that are paying their taxes on time and so you get a great rate. These are properties that have gotten a certain type of equity investment. So they've gotten equity that's helped make the cost of basically acquiring and either constructing or rehabbing that property very low, so they can keep their rents very low. But you have to be able to meet their income requirements, and they will not give you a subsidized rent. They will give you a below market rent, okay? And then that rent, that deal is attached to the unit. It doesn't come with you. Then there are a number of private nonprofit affordable housing providers in the community that offer a number of different kinds of units, whether they are in apartments, townhouses, group homes, different things like that. And so this is just a very short list of some of those providers that are in the community that offer those kinds of things. Most, again, of these are primarily reduced below market rents, but some of them also have project-based Section 8 units. Okay. Then, if you're just looking for housing on your own and you want to be able to try to find a good deal, these are really some very good websites to help you. You can go to padmapper.com, and it has a great option for you to be able to plug in the rent that you can afford to pay, and the area that you want to live in, and the number of bedrooms and bathrooms that you want, and things like that. And it will actually, it's kind of like a Google feature, so it will actually spit back at you a map that shows you all the different locations of where there are